Hi, Jody here from Healing Journey, www.healingjourneyservices.com to learn more about the programs and services I offer and also to check out the blog posts related to sleep. So today, I've kind of given it away, we're going to be talking about sleep. This is a super important topic and a lot of people with health issues end up having sleep issues. So chances are if you have some sort of health issue, you've struggled to some degree with sleep, whether it's falling asleep or staying asleep or sleeping during the right times. So I have done a lot of digging myself into sleep because this has been a huge issue for me, especially as my health continued to worsen. Sleep became something that I really struggled with. And before that, I never really thought about having sleep problems at all. So I'm going to go over 5 hacks that you can do to help your sleep. And we kind of cover a broad range of things in these hacks because sleep is often a clue, as I was saying earlier, that something is not really right in your body. And usually that has to do with cortisol. So the first thing I want to talk about, sleep hack number 1, balance your blood sugar. So if you're waking up between the hours of 12 and 2, let's hope you're going to bed before 12, but if you're waking up between those hours, that's usually a sign that there is a blood sugar imbalance. So what typically happens if you're have blood sugar issues, you're on a bit of a roller coaster with cortisol. So cortisol is going to be released when your blood sugar is low and then when your blood sugar is high, it's going to be insulin that's released. So you're going to create this bit of a roller coaster. So if you're on this roller coaster, typically you're going to eat dinner, or maybe you're going to have a high carb snack before you go to bed. And then what's going to happen as soon as you go to bed, your blood sugar is going to start to drop. Cortisol is going to be released and it's going to send your, it's going to wake you up. And the reason why is because the sleep hormone that you have, melatonin, cortisol is in opposition to that. So your cortisol typically is supposed to be lowest when you're supposed to go to sleep. So that's around 10 o'clock at night. It starts to drop down and melatonin really comes up. And so if you're producing more cortisol in the middle of the night than you're supposed to, it's going to really impact the job that melatonin's doing and likely wake you up out of your sleep. So if you're waking up at all, even if it's not in a panic, chances are that you have some blood sugar imbalance. And so a way to check for this is to try out the hack, which is to eat something that's not super high in carb before you go to bed. So I know if you're into snacking, like that bag of chips before you go to bed, even popcorn, all of these things are high carb, so they're going to really throw the blood sugar off before you sleep. So you're going to want to pair any sort of carb that you're having with a protein or a fat. And what that's going to do is balance your blood sugar. It's going to slow the effect that any sugary, starchy foods you have eaten has on your blood sugar roller coaster. So some ideas are an egg, almond butter, bone broth, and bulletproof tea. So basically this is like bulletproof coffee, but obviously you don't want to eat or drink coffee before you go to bed. So you can do a tea with an MCT or coconut oil. So again, a whole host of options available, but really make sure that you're adding in that protein or a fat to slow things down. So eating maybe 8 o'clock, I would say later, and you're going to run into issues with SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, because you're eating a bit too late. But definitely try this hack. And if it works, then you know you have blood sugar issues. So you want to take a look at what you're eating across the day, because that could really be throwing things off. Sleep hack number 2 is to improve your melatonin levels. So as I just mentioned, melatonin is your sleep hormone. And so you need good levels of melatonin along with appropriately low levels of cortisol to get a good night's sleep. So there are a couple of reasons you might not have good levels of melatonin. And in order to understand that, we have to take a brief look at how melatonin is made. So melatonin is made from something called 5-HTP. And 5-HTP goes into serotonin, which eventually gets made into melatonin. So when we want to boost melatonin, we want to look at serotonin, but obviously you cannot really you don't want to take serotonin. So you want to take 5-HTP or melatonin itself. Now there's a bit of controversy amongst practitioners around whether to take melatonin directly or to take 5-HTP. My recommendation to people is usually to start by taking 5-HTP. So again, that's a precursor to serotonin, which is a precursor to melatonin. And that's a great way to kind of see whether this is going to work for you. If 5-HTP doesn't work, then head on over and take melatonin directly. There's a couple of different ways to take melatonin. So if you have problems getting to sleep, you can take higher doses of melatonin, maybe 3 milligrams, maybe you can go up to 5 milligrams. I've gone up to 10 myself. If you have problems staying asleep, then you want to take a slow release melatonin. So something that's going to slowly release over the course of the night, and that's going to help you stay asleep over the evening. So those are some key points there with melatonin. The next sleep hack is to eliminate gut bugs. So this is actually linked because 90% of serotonin is made in your gut. So if your gut's a mess, guess what? You're not going to be sleeping very well. You're not going to be making a lot of melatonin because you probably have crappy serotonin production. So you want to sort out gut issues. And actually the bewitching hour for gut issues is between the hours of 3 and 5. So I definitely experienced this. So I would wake up between the hours of 3 and 5. And sometimes I would feel things moving and I knew that there was something going on. So typically when they're active at that time of the morning, your cortisol is going to go up because obviously it's going to stress your body out and that's going to wake you up out of a sleep that you need. So I do offer gut testing to kind of look at what's going on there. I can also look at melatonin levels through another test that I offer, which is kind of a good sense of whether your gut issues are affecting your melatonin or if melatonin production is off. Sleep hack number 4, eliminate blue light. So what's great is that technology is sort of catching up with this. I don't think TVs have, but your computer will have kind of a night shift option. Oftentimes I use something called Flux. There's also a program called Iris. And basically what that's going to do is starting sometime, I think around 7, it slowly starts to fade out the blue light from your computer screen. Night shift is on iPhones. So you definitely want to make sure that you have these, especially if you're using screens late at night. I don't really recommend being on screens late at night, but I mean, this is the world we live in. So sometimes it can be difficult. If you're watching TV, you want to wear blue light blockers. So these are lovely yellow glasses that you can wear. They're pretty hot. To watch TV. And so I'll often do that if I know that there's a show that I really like watching. I'll put on the blue light glasses. And the reason for this, so research is suggesting that blue light blocks the production of melatonin. So here we are back at melatonin again, and that's going to impact your circadian rhythm, and it also impacts your continuity of sleep. So basically studies have shown that if you have blue light exposure before bed, you're going to wake up more often than if you did not. So blue light exposure in itself is not bad. It's actually really good in the morning. It's going to give you energy. It's going to activate you, but you don't want blue light exposure at night. And because we have all these screens now, it's really mucking around with people's sleep schedules. You also want to be sleeping in complete darkness. So if you have, lamps outside of your apartment or house, you want to use blackout blinds, digital alarm clocks that glow. So like that lovely green light, you want to be covering those. And obviously you don't want to be having a TV in your bedroom because you're watching TV before bed, in bed, and that's not really a great thing for blue light at all. You also, hack number 5, create a healthy sleep environment. So this is key. There's lots of different components to that. Some people like myself like white noise. So a HEPA air filter can be great for that because not only are you getting the white noise from the HEPA air filter, but you're also filtering out the air in your bedroom, which is going to be great for sleeping. So actually, I lived in a place that had hidden mold, so I didn't know, but I was waking up with headaches. And when I got a HEPA air filter, my headaches actually went away. So it can be huge to have a HEPA air filter in your room, because if you think about it, you're spending about 8 hours in a room if your windows are closed. Not that great, not that healthy, especially if there's other toxins in your room like hidden mold. Mattresses are key, and I learned this the hard way. So I have been on a mattress and I was waking up in a panic because I'm really sensitive to toxins and I couldn't sleep at all. And initially I thought it was a room. I thought maybe there was EMF exposure going on. I tried all these things. And then finally I was like, I think it might be the mattress. So slept on an air mattress on the box spring and slept just fine. So basically if your mattress is older than 10 years, you're going to have gross stuff in this. And this is something that not a lot of people think about or talk about. But once it's on your radar, it becomes kind of on your mind a lot. So if you've had a mattress that's over 10 years, think about it. You've sweated on that mattress. There's dust mites on that mattress. There's bacteria in that mattress. And it's sitting in there for 10 years kind of festering. Disgusting. That's disgusting. And then when you're sleeping, especially if you don't have good detox, it's all those toxins are going to be irritating the body and really impacting your sleep. So this could be a huge hidden thing for you. If you've tried all these other hacks and nothing's working, think about your mattress. And so you actually want to I recommend organic mattresses are the best. They run at about $2 to $3 grand, so not everyone can afford that. Casper mattresses is another good option that's affordable, and you want to look at other natural foam options. I do have a link on my website to other options that you can look at. And so that is something that you definitely want to think about, is how old is my mattress? In Italy, I believe it is, they're actually making mattresses with little threads of silver in it. And that's because silver is antimicrobial. And so it's preventing the bacteria from growing in the mattresses. So something definitely to think about. You want to turn off your Wi-Fi at night. And this is key for people that are struggling with tick-borne illnesses and Lyme, but really anyone. But if you are struggling with those things, this is particularly important for you, especially if you're living in a condo or a densely populated area, because not only do you get your Wi-Fi exposure, you're getting your neighbors, you're getting the people below you, above you, around you. That's a lot of Wi-Fi. And with Lyme in particular, research has shown that Wi-Fi will cause Lyme bacteria to proliferate, so grow more. And so that's something that you definitely want to cut out. Sound can be an issue for people, so try out earplugs. You could consider essential oils like cedarwood and lavender, or other sleep-specific blends. And you also might want to get into a great sleep routine so you're not going into bed all panicked. This is something I will be working on this year because I don't have the best sleep routine. But those are some great sleep hygiene hacks. If you have any questions, comments, experiences with sleep that you want to share, I'm happy to hear it. Please feel free to write it below. Thanks so much for joining me this evening.